We were talking a little bit earlier about how we haven't really done a Q&A about
Hmm.
CKF because it's a very popular, very popular and sought after program. And so what that means is that there is a wait list or a waiting pool, as it
Hmm.
were.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
can you tell me a little bit about the wait list, what happens next if you're taken off the wait list, things like that?
Definitely. Actually, I like that word waiting pool because
Mm-hmm.
now, see, the wait list when I first started, it was very long, but the waiting pool now is about 30. And I tried my best to get everyone assigned a family resource specialist within 60 days. I'm very honest where they are. And if I'm not able to meet that 60 days, I'm definitely going to call the caregiver to let them know when to be expecting a call from the program coordinator, Dominica Miramonte, on being pulled off the wait list. So once a child name comes up on the wait list, the first thing they will do is receive a phone call from the program coordinator. The program coordinator from there would just reconfirm their interest in the program, just making sure they still have the time and the commitment that's needed to make the home visits because them are a strong requirement for the program. Once the interests have been verified, they are assigned a family resource specialist. From there, the family resource specialist actually will reach out to them, introduce themselves, and they will schedule an intake. And the intake is done either virtual or it can be done in person. We leave that kind of like up to the caregiver, and it takes about an hour. During the intake process, we are going over, we're just gathering like the normal data information that's needed. That it's the standard stuff that you get from the doctor's office, from the school office. And then also, then we do a deeper dive and we start talking about what the caregiver goals are. What do they want to see happen in the program when it comes to their child? We talk about any IEPs, what type of resources they may need, what have they done, how much do they actually know about the diagnosis that their child received. And then also we go more in depth talking about any difficult with medical navigations and just going into more conversation on how to support the family overall because by the child being in the program through 7 years old, if a child come in at 2 years old and they decide to stay all the way to the end, that's going to be a 5-year relationship. So therefore, the intake is very it's not, I don't want to use the word intense, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very informative, and that is needed in order for us to start setting up equipment ideas and other resources that we may need to support the child and also the parents.
You mentioned the equipment um,
Mhm.
several times, and I think that really the equipment is one of the ways that we get in the door for these families. That's so much more than that. We know that, but can you tell us a little bit more about the equipment lending program that we can see on the website? How do families go about using it, or others go about using it?
The way to access the equipment is to be a part of the program. Once you are part of the program, we do have a specified equipment that requires a doctor's prescription, such as a weighted vest or a weighted blanket. The reason why is because we cannot put a 45-pound blanket on a child that only weighs 25 pounds. That's going to cause a lot of respiratory issues, problems, and just unspeakable liability. So that's why we need the prescription from the doctor, not the therapist or someone who's given therapy, but an actual doctor prescription stating what type of vest and the weight of the vest so we can align the weight with the child and the weight of the vest to make sure that it is a success.
Mhm.
So getting access to the equipment is very simple. Join the program.
We say equipment, and people might be wondering, what does equipment mean? You've mentioned things like weighted vests, weighted blankets, things like that, but give us some, if you don't mind, give us some more examples of what types of items are in our equipment closet, types of things that families may be able to access.
We have sensory tables, like 3-part sensory tables. And when I'm ordering the equipment, I'm very mindful because everyone does not have a house. So I'm very mindful of the size. I don't want to take up a lot. So the sensory tables I did order, the containers are collapsible, along with they cover up and the legs come up, whereas they can break down and go up under the couch, up under the bed, or just away in the corner. We have finding gross motor skills. So simple things as magnetic tiles, but we use magnetic tiles in a different way. We use them for eye and hand coordination. We can use them for counting. We can use them for a color. We can use them for building. We can use them for conversation starters. We also have trampolines. That's good for balancing. Kids love to do that. We ask them questions and they just bouncing away, bouncing away, bouncing away. It's very good for kids who are sensory, high energy. It's very good for that. And then we also have what's called our tripods. That's another sensory, but it hangs from the like the ceiling, and they get in there. It makes them feel really, really smooth, comfortable, and safe. And also, it can be used as a calm down. For our growth motor skills, we have our balance bikes. Kids love the balance bikes. We have the tricycles. So the balance bikes can turn into a tricycle, and then also it can be a uniline. So it just depends on where the child is at that time. Now, when we talk about sensory, we have things from anywhere from a Bluey microphone all the way down to our busy book. So our busy book can have anywhere from 3 pages to 6 pages. And you have your zippers, you have different textures, you have different sounds. And I have someone, the mother said he plays with that book all day, every day. And I'm very I pay attention because I'm also a parent, I'm also a grandparent. Everything we give them, they can take with them to the store. We have what's called our talking buddies. So that's for those who are nonverbal. It has a simple button. I'm hungry. I need to use the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. Very simple things, but it's also such an empowering tool that it can bridge that communication gap within the household. Then we have my favorite, adaptable toys.
Yes.
So those who have limited mobility, limited sensory, push the push that adaptive little switch button, and they have access to work that toy or that developmental piece of equipment. So we have over 1,800 pieces. The best thing about our equipment lending program is when PT, OT, and speech come to your house, they bring all these beautiful toys and they say, oh, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Yeah, easier said than done. But come to the program, we can lend it to you
Mhm.
free
Right.
of charge.
If somebody wants to inquire about CKF, Capable Kids and Families, where do you recommend that they go to find out?
They can call 314-569-2211. They
Mhm.
can go on the website and actually complete the inquiry form
Mhm.
and just fill it out. It's very simple, few questions, and it comes right over to us,
Right.
and someone will actually follow back up to them.